In today's episode of Knobi Cooks, I present to you a dish you might only know from fast food. I am of course talking about Pizza Boston. This pizza with its Hollandaise type sauce, ham, onions, broccoli and Gouda cheese is truly something special. So let's not wait any longer and get straight to cooking. If you enjoy my content, please consider leaving a like and subscribing to my channel. For today's pizza we will need an onion, some cooked ham, 1 egg yolk, our pizza dough, Gouda cheese, cream, broccoli, our set of spices, flour, some water, and I've already prepared a pot with butter. And of course 2 baking trays. Okay, you know the drill by now. First we will take care of our onion. We will halve the onion, and 1/2 of the onion will be for our Hollandaise type sauce, and the other one for garnishing our pizza. The half onion we will use for our sauce, we will dice into small dices. Afterwards just add it into your pot to your butter. And just so you know from the beginning, we won't be making an original Hollandaise sauce. Rather, I will show you how to do a less heavy adaptation with cream and onion in it. Other than that, it is very similar to the original. With that said, let's get back to the other half onion. This half we will cut into thin slices. These slices will end up as topping on our pizza. That's why we want to make sure that they are thin so they get properly cooked in the oven later on. If you want to make extra sure your onion is properly cooked, you can saute it before putting it onto your pizza. And we will continue with our toppings. Next up is the broccoli. Simply take your broccoli and halve it or quarter it depending on the size of the individual sprouts. Usually I'm using frozen broccoli for this pizza. If you are using frozen broccoli, just make sure you thaw it in time. This way you can drain away some additional water, which then won't end up on your pizza and thus make your pizza extra crispy. You might notice that my broccoli sprouts are still somewhat frozen, and that's because I didn't thaw my broccoli in time. Well, I guess I should listen more to my own advice. The turn of the next topping has come, our cooked ham. So I would recommend you that you dice your cooked ham into small dices. The dices can then be spread more evenly on top of your pizza, which is great. To dice your ham, first cut it into thin strips, then turn it by 90 degrees and simply cut across it again the same way you did before. And that's it, the ham is done. If you prefer strips of ham or even ham slices, you can of course also go for that. And now we have already cut all of our toppings, which brings us to the next step, rolling out our pizza dough. Though before that, let's preheat our oven. Put your oven to 200 degrees Celsius top and bottom heat. That's 392 degrees Fahrenheit for you in the US. Here I am using a homemade pizza dough. If you haven't seen my video on how to make your own pizza dough, go check it out. The link is in the description. We are going to prepare one pizza after another. So first take half of your dough and then form it into a ball on your countertop with some flour so it doesn't stick. After that, flatten out your dough into a rough pizza shape with your hands. After that, I recommend you to use a rolling pin to flatten your pizza dough out further. If you have your own way for preparing pizza dough, you can always just stick with that. With that said, make sure there's always enough flour on your countertop and then start gently rolling over your pizza dough with your rolling pin. Gently roll over it horizontally and vertically so it gets closer and closer to its final shape. You basically want to roll out your pizza dough into a shape as close to your baking tray as you can get it. This way you need to stretch your pizza dough less once you have put it into your baking tray. But I'm getting ahead of myself. If you are satisfied with the shape of your pizza dough, take it and put it into your baking tray. And don't forget to put in parchment paper first. As soon as the dough is in your baking tray, stretch it out if you think it needs more stretching in any of the directions. After that, repeat the whole process for the second half of your pizza dough. If you don't want to make your own pizza dough, you can just as well follow this recipe with some dough you bought in the supermarket, though I highly recommend you to try it at least once to make your own pizza dough. It really is like a walk in the park. With our pizza dough rolled out, we can now pre-bake it in the oven. Simply remember to check on your pizza dough from time to time. With our pizza dough baking away, we can now turn our attention to our Hollandaise style sauce. For this, turn your stovetop on and start sauteing your onions. Make sure you're using a good chunk of butter, because we are using that to create a roux later on. Gently stir your onions over and over again, because we don't really want them to brown. We only want them glassy. As soon as you are happy with your result, add some flour into the mix. After that, simply keep on sauteing your flour and your onions. We want the flour to soak up most of the fat in the pot. Be extra careful here so nothing burns in your pot. If you prefer to make this pizza with a real sauce Hollandaise, feel free to do so. I simply like to do a lighter version for this pizza, so the meal doesn't get too heavy. Even though it is very tasty, I kind of don't want to use a sauce that mainly consists of butter. And that's why I came up with this slightly lighter version using cream. But that's just my 2 cents. The original Pizza Boston of course comes with an original sauce Hollandaise. But let's get back to making this sauce. We will now want to add a good swig of water into our pot. After that, thoroughly stir your roux so nothing sticks. Keep the heat relatively high and you will soon notice that the roux starts thickening. That then is the exact moment in which we want to add our cream. Stir your cream under and make sure it bubbles for a brief moment. And after that you can turn off the heat of your stovetop. Now we will season our sauce with nutmeg, black pepper and some salt. If you're feeling especially creative, you may also want to add some parsley, which I didn't in this instance. Stir the spices under while the sauce cools down a little bit. And while you stir your sauce, I have a philosophical question for you. A question of great importance. Do you think a pizza without tomato sauce is still a pizza? I have heard some arguments that it isn't, especially when you're using a white sauce. What is your opinion? Let me know down below in the comments. In my opinion, a pizza without tomato sauce is still a pizza. Prove me wrong. With that important question out of the way, the time has now come to add our egg yolk into our sauce. For this, your sauce shouldn't be boiling hot anymore, though it is okay if it still bubbles a little bit. Simply stir the egg yolk under. This will add some nice color to our sauce. And if you would have stick to the original Hollandaise, your sauce would be even more yellow at this point. Nevertheless, I still think that this sauce is a very good substitute for the original one. I have now taken the pizza work pieces out of the oven. The left one may have gotten a little too crispy, however it is still very good for pizza making. In the meantime, don't turn off your oven, we will need it soon. Since we have prepared all of our toppings and our sauce, we can now start assembling our pizza for real. First, we want to put our sauce onto our pizzas. Try to pour about half of the sauce on each of your pizzas. You don't have to be super exact, but you shouldn't be too much off either. After that, take a spoon or a spatula and spread the sauce evenly on top of your pizza. While doing so, take care that none of the pizza runs off of the dough. If too much sauce runs off, you risk it burning into your baking tray. And burnt in sauce can be nasty to clean off afterwards. I hope you're not too hungry yet at this point, because we still need to put the remaining toppings on top of our pizza and then bake it. But we are getting very close. Okay, now with our sauce spread, we can put the toppings onto our pizzas. During this step, try to equally spread the toppings between both pizzas. You don't want to overload one and underload the other one. First, put the ham onto the pizza. And as soon as you have spread all of the ham, put the broccoli onto your pizzas. The smaller you have cut your broccoli sprouts, the better they will cook in the oven later on. And while we spread our toppings, I want to ask you, where have you first heard of Pizza Boston? In this video? Or have you eaten it before at some kind of fast food restaurant? In my case, I have eaten Pizza Boston for the first time at Domino's, and I was simply blown away by the combination of the ingredients. And that's why I came up with this recipe. And I think I made a very good job in copying them. Back to our pizza. We now want to put our shredded Gouda on top of the pizzas. I'm using Gouda because I think it fits very well to the sauce Hollandaise, which kind of results in a Dutch themed pizza. But if you prefer to use another type of cheese, feel free to do so. I think shredded mozzarella will also do the job. And now we are almost at the finish line. Only the onions remain. For the onions, the same thing goes as for the rest of our ingredients. Simply spread them equally on top and between your two pizzas. And after that, you're done. Only the baking remains. Simply put both of your pizzas into your oven, which should be still set to 200 degrees Celsius or 392 degrees Fahrenheit, top and bottom heat. Bake the pizzas for about 10 to 20 minutes. Decide yourself how they are doing by simply taking a look at them from time to time. If there's an unequal heat distribution in your oven, maybe swap out the top and bottom pizza after some time. This is what I had to do. If you have asked yourself up to this point, why am I putting the onions on top of everything else? Well, I'm usually using raw onion, and that's simply the best place for them to cook properly. If you did, like I suggested in the beginning, saute your onions, you can also put them into a different layer just fine. I simply think this is the easiest/laziest way you can prepare the onions on your pizza. Then after 20 minutes, turn on your air circulation. Keep the temperature the same and bake your pizza for an additional 10 to 15 minutes. Here too, simply take a look at your pizza from time to time and decide yourself how it is doing. If I did count correctly, I did bake my pizza for roughly 33 minutes, but your mileage may vary. Nevertheless, you have made it to the end of the recipe. The pizza is done and can be served and enjoyed. I hope you enjoyed today's episode of Knobi Cooks. And if you did try out this recipe, tell me down below in the comments how you liked it. Also, if you like my content, I would be very happy if you leave me a like and subscribe to my channel. And I will try to keep inspiring with new and tasty recipes. With that said, thank you for watching, and I hope to see you in the next one. I am Knobi. Goodbye.